The federal government will shut down next week if Congress fails to act. It is currently set to run out of funding on November 17th. Both Democrats and Republicans remain divided on how to resolve the issue. House Republicans met behind closed doors today to discuss plans to avoid a government shutdown.
We had a very, I would call it a refreshing, constructive family conversation in our House Republican Conference meeting an hour ago. Very deliberate, positive discussions about the many options that are on the table, and we'll be revealing what our plan is in short order.
All right, Republicans have been considering a possible stopgap measure that would stagger funding for some government agencies, while Democrats say they're not interested in a temporary resolution. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now. Nikole, where do we stand on this congressional funding battle yet again?
Well, that is exactly what I asked the speaker is when they're going to make a decision, because as we know, in the House Republican Conference meeting this morning, members were presented with a variety of options, including just a standalone stopgap measure that would extend funding through January, this so-called laddered CR, which would take more of an individualized approach by extending some appropriations bills for a temporary period of time. And then there's also this possibility of just negotiating with the Senate to see what could come out of that. But with 11 days left, there's really not much time. The speaker really didn't give a firm timetable, but he did acknowledge that they know they're up against the clock, and he said that he hopes as a conference that they'll make a decision soon.
So, I mean, Republicans sound like they're taking a little bit of responsibility over time lost in picking a speaker. Are you sensing that there's not going to be a shutdown, that there will be an agreement in the next 10 days?
Well, don't want to make any predictions, but I think the sentiment is that they would like to avoid a shutdown if they can. Certainly, that is a message that we hear from congressional leaders time and again, that they don't want to shut down. But again, time is of essence, since we're now less than 2 weeks away from that funding deadline. I did talk to some Republicans coming out of today's conference meeting to see which approach they favored. Take a listen.
I'm intrigued by the bifurcated CR. I think we have some different issues. I'm not sure Senate Dems will take up DOD without labor H. There is another chamber over there, and eventually we need 60 votes to pass everything. I do know this, after the last month, if we walk into a shutdown right now, we deserve what we get. So we got to figure this out.
That was Congressman Kelly Armstrong. Of course, he indicated, as you just heard there, that, you know, they will have to take responsibility if they get to that point of a shutdown. But again, doesn't seem likely at this point. You know, I did ask Speaker Johnson earlier, why even consider this laddered approach? Why try something new when, again, you're up against this deadline? But I think he does want to, you know, empower members to kind of make this decision, what they think is the best course of action. And he did acknowledge that they would try to bring a vote to the floor soon. So talk to me about, you know, what would suffer if it is a CR? What are those priorities that Republicans are saying, you know, we need to focus on this now, that we're not willing to agree with Democrats on right now, and which agencies would suffer? Well, one thing that seems to be off the table is this issue of foreign aid. As we know, the House passed a standalone package to support Israel. Leader Schumer has indicated that that is not serious. It's a non-starter. He wants to move more in line with what the White House has requested with respect to trying to fund Israel, Ukraine, the border, etc. So it's likely that both chambers may have that debate separate or independent from trying to move this stopgap measure. There has been some questions as to whether or not, if the House moves alone with a standalone stopgap bill, if they would try to include Israel again. But for now, it seems that may or may not be the case.
Wow. Nikole, thank you.
You bet.